What's going on with you?
Oh, I'll be up in Parowan.
So you're gonna move there and live there?
I am now.
In so many ways, this moment is just about what we each want. And those aren't the same things. The hardest thing is accepting that it's not going to go back to a place that works for what you're looking for.
It's the bombshell fans never saw coming. Kody Brown secretly reaching out to Meri, the wife he's publicly trashed for years, with late-night phone calls dripping in nostalgia and regret. And while Meri was quick to shut it down, the real shocker isn't just that Kody can't let go. It's that Robyn, Kody's so-called one and only these days, is reportedly furious that these calls even happened.
It feels like everything's just sort of falling apart, and I'm trying so hard to remain hopeful. It feels like I'm in an alternate reality or something. Like I just don't know how to wrap my brain around what's happened.
That's right, the one-wife era that Robyn thought she'd finally secured is already starting to crumble. Because while she's been playing the loyal queen, Kody's been making quiet confessions to the wife he said he wanted nothing to do with. Insiders say Robyn felt completely blindsided by the revelation. She spent years watching Kody paint Meri as the villain, the one who betrayed him, the one who never really fit in. Meri was the first wife he let slip away.
If I want to buy her jewelry, if I want her to feel special all the time, if I'm in love with a woman, I think that is her fault.
The one he publicly said he never loved. And Robyn, she swooped in like the savior, the wife who was supposed to finally heal Kody's battered ego. She's been telling herself that she's the chosen one, the woman Kody was always meant to be with, the only one who could make his dreams of a perfect marriage come true. But now that Meri's finally moved on, living her life, finding her own peace, Kody can't help but reach back out, telling her he's grieving the loss of what they had. And Robyn, she's not having it. Sources close to the family say she's livid that Kody would even think of calling Meri, let alone pouring out his heart to her in the dead of night.
I'm not placing blame. All I did was acknowledge the fact that he told me he was not interested in working on a relationship.
You want me to own it that much?
I'm
I
not
didn't
saying
say I wasn't
anything
interested
about
in working
owning.
on it.
Because in Robyn's mind, this was supposed to be her victory, her chance to be the one and only, the final chapter in Kody's polygamist fairy tale. And fans, they're eating it up. They're calling it the ultimate betrayal, not just to Robyn, but to the entire narrative Kody's been trying to sell. Because if he's still grieving Meri, if he's still reaching out to the woman he once called evil and dangerous, then maybe the one-wife dream was never real at all. Maybe it was just another story Kody told to keep the peace. And if there's one thing fans know for sure, it's that when Kody's loyalty starts to waver, the whole house of cards can come tumbling down. Because Robyn's fury isn't just about Meri, it's about the realization that she might never truly be the only one. And for the first time, fans are starting to wonder if the one-wife era was doomed from the start.
What is your relationship like now with Robyn?
We talk when we need to. You're gonna see a little bit of those conversations kind of play out.
Robyn's anger didn't just come out of nowhere. It's been brewing for a while now. And these secret phone calls to Meri were the final straw. Because let's be real, Robyn's always wanted to believe she was different, that she was the one who finally made Kody whole. She spent years playing the part of the perfect, supportive wife, the one who's always there to back him up, to soothe his ego, to keep the peace. But behind the scenes, there's always been that nagging feeling that Kody might still be carrying a torch for the other women he left behind. And now, with these late-night confessions to Meri, Robyn's worst fears are coming true. Sources say Robyn is absolutely livid, not just because Kody reached out, but because it was done in secret, behind her back. It's like all the trust she thought she had in him is suddenly up in smoke.
Which was harder, ending it legally or ending it spiritually?
Legally.
Why?
Because I was not in the place at the time to terminate it that way, but by the time that I ended it spiritually, I was like, I'm done, I'm out,
I'm done, I'm out.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fans can't help but see the irony. Robyn spent years insisting she was Kody's one true love, that the other wives just didn't understand him, like she did. But now she's getting a taste of what they went through, feeling like she's not enough, like she's always competing with some ghost from Kody's past. And let's talk about that ghost for a second. Because Meri isn't just some ex-wife that Kody forgot about, she was the first. She was the one who stood by him when he was just some small-town dreamer with big plans and even bigger insecurities. And even though he spent years trying to rewrite the story, blaming her for everything that went wrong, there's a part of him that's never been able to let her go. That's why these midnight calls are hitting Robyn so hard, because they're not just phone calls, they're reminders that Kody's heart might still be stuck in the past, no matter how many times he tries to say otherwise. So while Robyn might be furious, fans are watching it all play out with popcorn in hand, because they know that if Kody's still reaching out to Meri, it means the one-wife era isn't as rock solid as Robyn wanted everyone to believe. And if there's one thing fans love more than drama, it's watching the cracks start to show. And those cracks, they're spreading faster than anyone could have imagined. Because while Kody's been busy making tearful midnight confessions to Meri, he's also been telling the world he's done with polygamy, that he's ready to live a monogamous life with Robyn and leave the chaos of plural marriage behind. But how can you claim to be all in with one woman when you're still calling the wife you threw away, telling her you're grieving what you lost? Fans are calling out the hypocrisy, and honestly, it's impossible to ignore. Robyn's been trying to play it cool in public, but sources say she's feeling humiliated and blindsided. She's the one who's supposed to have Kody's full devotion, the one he said he was building his future with. But if he's still tangled up in old feelings for Meri, what does that say about everything Robyn thought she knew? It's like she's waking up to the reality that Kody's promises might have been just another performance. Just another way to keep everyone in line while he chases whatever attention he's craving in the moment. And for Meri, she's not here for it. She's made it clear that she's not interested in Kody's half-hearted apologies or his midnight soul-searching. She spent too many years playing the loyal wife, only to be treated like an afterthought. Now she's finally done with the games, and she's not about to let Kody's sudden wave of grief drag her back into the drama. It's like she's saying, I see you for what you are, and I'm not falling for it again. And fans can't get enough, because if there's one thing this whole messy situation has proven, it's that Kody can't handle being truly alone. Even when he says he's happy with just one wife, he's still chasing the emotional high of being the center of someone else's world. And for Robyn, that realization has to cut deep. She thought she was finally the only one, but these secret calls to Meri are a brutal reminder that Kody's never been capable of loving just one person at a time. And that's why fans are saying the one-wife era might already be over before it even began. Meri's icy refusal to be pulled back into Kody's web has only added to the drama, leaving fans in absolute awe of her strength. She's done trying to fix what's broken. She's done trying to heal wounds that Kody refuses to even admit exist. And this time, she's not just saying no, she's shutting the door completely. It's like a final act of defiance in a story that's been building for decades. And fans are cheering her on from the sidelines. What's even more jaw-dropping is how Robyn is reportedly taking this news. She spent so long believing that if she was patient enough, if she loved Kody enough, he'd finally choose her and only her. But these phone calls to Meri, they're proof that Kody can't let go of the past, no matter how hard Robyn tries, to mold him into the perfect husband. And sources close to the family say that realization has left Robyn reeling, feeling like everything she's worked for is slipping through her fingers. It's like the final puzzle piece falling into place. For fans who've been watching this saga unfold from the beginning, Kody's need for validation, his endless quest for someone to tell him he's the hero, has never really been about love. It's about control, about keeping everyone orbiting around him like he's the sun at the center of their universe. And for Robyn, who spent years trying to keep that sun shining only on her, this is the ultimate betrayal. But here's the part that fans can't get enough of. Meri's refusal isn't just about protecting herself from Kody's mind games. It's about her finally stepping into her own power. For years, she let Kody's words define her worth. She let his rejection shape the way she saw herself. But now, she's rewriting that story. She's not the woman who waits by the phone hoping Kody will finally see her value. She's the woman who sees her own value and refuses to let him steal it again. And while Robyn might be fuming behind closed doors, Meri's silence is the loudest statement of all. She's not playing the game anymore. And for fans, that's the real twist. It's not just Kody's loyalty to Robyn that's in question. It's the entire foundation of the one-wife era. If Kody can't stop chasing the ghosts of his past, then maybe it was doomed from the start. Fans are starting to see this whole situation for what it really is. A last-ditch effort by Kody to keep the illusion alive, even as everything around him crumbles. Because let's be honest, these secret calls to Meri didn't just happen out of nowhere. They're part of the same cycle Kody's been trapped in for decades. He craves attention, he needs validation, and when he's not getting it from Robyn alone, he reaches out to the woman he's always known would pick up the phone. But Meri didn't pick up this time, at least not in the way Kody wanted her to. And that's what's making Robyn so furious, because Robyn thought she had finally won. She thought Kody's heart was finally hers, safe from the ghosts of his past. She thought that by standing by him while everyone else walked away, she'd secured her place as the only one who mattered. But Kody's midnight calls to Meri are proof that no matter how hard Robyn tries, she can't erase Meri from Kody's heart or his mind. And that's the part that stings the most for Robyn, because she's realizing that even after all these years, she's still just one piece of Kody's puzzle. She's not the whole picture, no matter how much she wants to believe she is. And fans can't help but wonder, if Kody's still holding on to Meri, what does that mean for Robyn's dreams of being the one and only? Is this the moment when she finally sees Kody for who he really is? A man who can't let go of the past, even when the future is right in front of him? Meanwhile, Meri's living her best life without him. She's done playing the role of the scorned wife, done waiting for Kody to figure out what he really wants, and fans are loving every second of it. Because for the first time in a long time, Meri's not just surviving, she's thriving. She's rewriting her story in her own words, and she's not letting Kody or Robyn steal that from her ever again. So as Robyn fumes and Kody's house of cards starts to wobble, fans are watching with bated breath. Because if this is the beginning of the end for Robyn's one-wife fantasy, they're here for every second of the fallout. What's so fascinating, and honestly kind of delicious, is how this whole situation has flipped the power dynamic on its head. Robyn, who once held all the cards, is suddenly the one scrambling to hold on to a man who can't seem to let go of his past. She's realizing that maybe she was never the final chapter, just another chapter in Kody's endless quest for validation. And if there's one thing fans have learned from this saga, it's that Kody will always find a way to keep the drama alive, even if it means risking everything he's supposedly built with Robyn. And fans are eating it up. They're calling out the hypocrisy, the mind games, the way Kody has spent years tearing Meri down only to come crawling back the second she starts to find her own peace. It's like he can't stand the idea of her being happy without him, like he needs to know she's still just as tied up in his mess as he is. But Meri's silence says it all. She's done playing his game. She's done letting his midnight phone calls and crocodile tears pull her back into the chaos. Meanwhile, Robyn's world is starting to crack under the weight of it all. She's seeing firsthand what the other wives always knew. Kody's loyalty is about as stable as a house of cards in a windstorm. And while she might be trying to hold it together on the outside, insiders say she's furious that Kody would even think of calling Meri, let alone confessing his so-called grief. Because to Robyn, those calls aren't just about Meri. They're about everything she thought she had with Kody. And the fact that he'd risk that with one phone call, that's a betrayal she can't just brush off. So where does this leave Meri? In a place of strength she's never had before? She's not looking back. She's not wondering what could have been. She's moving forward, and fans are rooting for her every step of the way. Because if there's one thing this mess has made clear, it's that Meri's finally done letting Kody, or anyone else, decide how her story ends. And honestly, that's the real plot twist fans have been waiting for. Let's get into the next layer of this tangled mess. Kody's endless need for supply, and how his midnight calls to Meri are just the latest chapter in his narcissistic game. Fans have watched for years as Kody's entire identity has revolved around being the center of attention, the man whose every word and mood swings kept everyone around him dancing on eggshells. And now, with only Robyn left in the picture, it's like he's realizing that one adoring wife just isn't enough to feed that ego. Because here's the thing, when you're used to being worshipped by 4 wives, having just one start to feel, well, a little too quiet. Insiders say that Kody's calls to Meri weren't about love or closure, they were about reestablishing that pipeline of adoration he's always depended on. It's classic narcissistic behavior. When one source of validation starts to dry up, they circle back to the ones who used to give them everything. And for Kody, Meri was the ultimate source. She was loyal to a fault, always ready to believe there was still hope, even when he treated her like she was the problem. But this time, Meri's not falling for it. She's seen this cycle for what it is. Kody's need to keep her dangling to make sure she never really feels like she can move on. And Robyn, she's watching the man she thought was hers alone reveal that he's still just as hungry for attention as ever. It's a brutal awakening for someone who's built her entire life around the fantasy that she was the exception, the final wife who would finally be enough. Fans are calling it out too, pointing out how Kody's need for validation has always been at the heart of every scandal, every heartbreak. He can't stand the idea of not being the most important person in the room, even if it means destroying the trust of the one woman he claimed to be his soulmate. And for Meri, that realization is the final nail in the coffin of their twisted connection, because she's done playing the role of the devoted wife who keeps the fires burning. She's moved on, and Kody's stuck chasing the ghost of what he threw away. And while fans are applauding Meri's refusal to get sucked back into Kody's orbit, Christine and Janelle have been dropping their own truth bombs that only add to the drama. Christine, who's never been one to bite her tongue, has said flat out that Kody's endless mind games are the reason she walked away. She's seen how he twists every situation to make himself the victim, how he expects everyone else to keep the peace while he's out here stirring the pot. And in the aftermath of these secret phone calls, her words feel more relevant than ever. Janelle, too, has been honest about how Kody's emotional manipulation wore her down. She's talked about how he always seemed to find a way to make everything her fault, to keep her guessing, to make sure she never felt completely secure. And now that Kody's midnight confessions to Meri have come to light, fans are realizing just how right these women were. They've been telling us for years that Kody can't handle not being the center of everyone's world. And this latest drama is just the latest proof. It's like Christine and Janelle's experiences were a crystal ball, showing exactly where Kody's one-wife fantasy would eventually end up. Because when a man like Kody needs constant attention to feel whole, there's no such thing as enough. Even when he says he's done with plural marriage, even when he says he wants to be with just one woman, the truth is, he'll always be looking for that next source of validation. And Robyn, she's finding out the hard way that she's not immune to that cycle, no matter how much she wanted to believe she was. For fans who've watched the Brown family drama unfold for over a decade, this moment feels like a long overdue reckoning. Because it's not just Meri who's woken up to the truth, it's all the women who once believed Kody's promises, only to find out he never really meant them in the first place. And as Kody's carefully built image starts to crumble, fans can't help but wonder if this is finally the moment when the rest of the world sees the real Kody Brown. What's even more powerful about this moment is how it's turned into a victory for Meri in the eyes of fans. Because after decades of being blamed, silenced, and sidelined, she's finally getting to tell her own story, without Kody's spin on it. She's no longer the woman who can't let go, or the wife who just didn't measure up. She's the woman who's done with the lies, the manipulation, and the endless cycles of heartbreak. And fans are here for every second of it. You can see it in the way Meri carries herself now. There's a calm in her voice that wasn't there before, a confidence that says she knows exactly who she is and what she deserves. She's not playing the role of the scorned ex-wife anymore. She's rewriting the whole narrative. And Kody's midnight calls, they're not a chance for closure. They're a final test, one that Meri passed with flying colors. She didn't let him pull her back into the mess, and she didn't let Robyn's insecurities become her problem, because Meri's finally realized that the only person she needs to answer to is herself. And Robyn, she's left trying to pick up the pieces of a dream that was never really hers to begin with. She's seeing what fans have seen all along, that Kody's promises were always more about what he needed in the moment than what he could give in the long run. And while she might be furious that Meri's even part of the conversation, deep down she's got to know that this isn't about Meri at all. It's about Kody's inability to be the man he said he was, and his refusal to let go of the women who've already let go of him. For fans, this is the kind of drama that keeps them glued to the screen. Because it's not just about Kody and his wandering heart, it's about the triumph of a woman who finally said enough. And that's a story worth watching to the very end. As we watch this latest chapter unfold, it's impossible not to see how much Meri has changed. And how much Kody hasn't. Because while he's still caught in the same old cycle of manipulation and attention-seeking, Meri's found her way out. She's no longer willing to play the part he wrote for her, no longer interested in being the fallback when Robyn's devotion isn't quite enough. And that's what makes her refusal to answer his midnight grief calls so satisfying. It's like watching someone finally walk away from the wreckage of a relationship that was never going to be what they needed. Meanwhile, Robyn's world is teetering on the edge. She thought she was the final wife, the one who would finally get the happy ending Kody always promised. But these secret calls to Meri are a brutal reminder that Kody's loyalty is paper thin at best. She's seeing firsthand that Kody's heart has never really been hers alone, that even when he's saying all the right things, he's still chasing the ghost of the family he let slip away. And fans, they're not just watching, they're relating. Because Meri's story isn't just reality TV drama, it's a mirror for anyone who's ever been caught in the web of a narcissist's charm. It's a testament to how hard it is to break free, to stop letting someone else's pain become your responsibility. And Meri's refusal to carry Kody's grief, it's a lesson in how to finally put yourself first. So while Robyn fumes and Kody tries to pretend he's still in control, Meri's living proof that there's life after the storm. She's showing the world that you can let go of someone who never really saw you and still come out stronger on the other side. And for fans who've been rooting for her from the start, that's the kind of payoff that makes every minute of this drama worth it. Because in the end, it's not about Kody or Robyn or anyone else. It's about Meri, and she's finally writing the ending to her own story. This final chapter in the drama has left fans with one burning question. If Kody's still reaching out to Meri, is the one-wife era really over before it even began? Robyn's carefully constructed fairy tale is starting to look like a house of cards, one that's already wobbling under the weight of Kody's restless heart and Meri's quiet strength. And for viewers who've been there since the very beginning, this feels like the moment everything changes. Because no matter how much Kody tries to claim he's done with plural marriage, his actions are telling a completely different story. Robyn might still be hoping that this is just a temporary glitch, that Kody's midnight confessions are nothing more than a moment of weakness, but fans aren't buying it. They're watching the cracks widen in real time, and they're not shy about calling it what it is: the end of the one-wife era before it ever really started. Because if Kody can't let go of Meri, even after all these years and all the heartbreak, then what does that say about his promises to Robyn? What does that say about the future of a family that was already hanging by a thread? And Meri? She's done waiting for Kody to figure it out. She's done making room for his confusion, done carrying his grief like it's hers to fix. She's finally found the strength to put herself first. And that's the part of this story that fans are clinging to the most. Because if Meri can break free from decades of manipulation, maybe anyone can. Maybe this isn't just the end of a marriage, it's the start of something so much bigger. So tell me, do you think Robyn's dream of a one-wife fairy tale is really over? Or is Kody going to keep playing these games until there's nothing left for any of them? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because the next video on your screen is waiting, and there's so much more to come.